Hi, I'm Gill. I'm the head security nerd here at SolarWinds MSP. This is part 3 in our series of supporting users as they work from home. In the first session, we talked about securing the environment that the users are working in. In the second one, we talked about securing the device, the identities, and the data that that user might be accessing from home. In this one, I want to talk a little bit about the people themselves. Now, you may be dealing with a lot of end users who are not used to working from home. This is a new situation for them. Unfortunately, this presents a perfect storm of risk, mainly because, one, they're not necessarily as security minded when they're at home versus when they're in the office. Also, we have this crisis going on with people being asked to work from home to social distance, so there's a concern in the air about what's happening, which means these users will be very tempted to seek out as much information as they can. And third, we have bad actors who are taking advantage of the situation. They're sending malicious emails, phishing links that are trying to get people to click on, for example, a link to a document in Office 365 and give up their credentials, or to open an attachment that's malicious that can infect the system. Add to that fact that everybody is in the house all day long, and you have some challenges. So how can you help address these? The first thing is to ensure that the users understand the risk when they're working from home and using either a company laptop or their own system to access company resources. They should be a little more hyper aware of a few things. One of those is you should recommend that they don't check their personal email or conduct personal business on whatever system they're using for work during this crisis. This is going to help it be more secure because you're able to manage the situation better when it comes to that device. Also, if they do receive an email that has an urgent request or says something like new infected person in your area, new guidance from the CDC, or, for example, in the US, information about your stimulus check, make sure that they give those emails extra scrutiny. Look at the from field, look for any misspellings or a strange configuration in that from field. Be on the lookout for extremely urgent requests. Also, if they receive an email from a coworker, a boss, or someone else asking for them to pay an invoice, for example, and it's super urgent, take a minute to verify that with a second resource. Give them a call, send them a separate email and say, did you request this? That's called business email compromise, and it's been on the rise a lot lately. So really take a few extra minutes to scrutinize any email that they receive. Also, recommend that the user use this machine only for work and not let other people share that machine. Sometimes kids or significant others might want to share that particular machine. I really recommend that this only be used for work during this time. Also, if they've been granted remote access either through a remote desktop or a VPN into other resources, recommend that they shut down that VPN connection or close that remote connection while it's not in use. That's going to limit the risk to that corporate environment as well. And finally, they should log completely out of that work machine while they're not using it for work. Now, what can you do as a service provider to help add value in this situation? I would say establish a communication channel. Let them know how things are going with you, how things are going with the organization. For example, if there are a lot of requests or things are getting backed up a little bit, you might want to let them know that. Supply them with helpful information that helps them do their job. And finally, give them some vetted resources they can use if they want to find more information about what's going on rather than go out and look for it itself. In fact, I wrote a blog post about that. You can go to solarwindsmsp.com/blog, select the head nerds, and you'll find a blog that I wrote about staying safe in times of elevated risk. It covers a lot of these topics and gives some recommendations that you can use. Also, I recommend establishing an inbound channel where you can receive, for example, forwarded emails. Is this legitimate? This looks like a scam. Take a little extra time to evaluate those and then validate their suspicions. If you see a lot of those start to come in, you can actually forward some of those to the entire organization so that they can be on the lookout for these types of emails and make sure they aren't tricked into clicking on those. And finally, I'd recommend exercising a little patience with some of these users. They're in a new situation. They're not quite sure what to do. They're obviously concerned and seeking out other information. Just taking a few minutes, even once a week, to give them some of that information themselves will go a long way toward adding value and making sure that they're all operating in a more secure environment. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at cybersec_nerd. I post a lot of information about emerging threats, information that would be security focused. So feel free to follow and check out that feed for more information on blogs and other articles. And as always, make sure you take care of yourself and let's stay safe out there.